Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to My Drone Chronicles. And if this is your first time here, you might want to think about hitting that subscribe button down below if you like talking about drones or tech or what's coming up or what's coming out. Anyway guys, today we're going to talk about the Autel EVO 2's Explorer app. For those of you who've never seen it before, we're going to go over what it looks like, what it's like to use it, and go over most of all the settings that are in there. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so check this out. Once you launch the app, you get a nice little video playing with some options on the screen. Bottom left hand corner, it says cloudy. Click on that cloudy. You get a nice little detail of your current weather in your current location. Top right hand corner, there's a picture icon. If you click on that picture icon, that'll take you to your Autel account settings. Now we're not going to get too involved in here because hey, after all, privacy is privacy. Now, if you want to click on the mission button here, this is where you can set missions, like from your map, waypoint mission. Let's check that out real quick. See, here it brings up your map, and you can hit the create project and start creating a project there. But we're not going to get into that. That's for another video. What we're mainly looking for is the camera view. So let's click on the camera icon. Once that comes up, Learning Center starts. That'll start every time, but you can choose not to show that if you don't want to. Top right hand corner is the gear icon. Let's click on that gear icon, and that'll take us to our first set of settings, which is the flight control settings. Here you can turn novice mode on or off, go home altitude. Here's where you can adjust how high you want your aircraft to go when it returns to home. Speed mode, standard or ludicrous. If you want to go faster, you put it in ludicrous mode. However, it's going to tell you you need to turn off obstacle avoidance if you want to go in ludicrous mode, so let's cancel that for now. Speed limit. You can actually set a speed limit on your drone. As you can see here, you got the choice of 11 or 22 miles per hour. So no matter what you do, whatever you have it set to, that's the fastest it's going to go. Altitude limit, or max altitude. You can choose to adjust that if you want to. However, if you do, it's going to tell you you might be in violation of some local laws or regulations, so you might just want to be careful changing this. Go ahead and pause that and read through this, but let's move on. Distance limit. By default, as you can see, it's set to 1,640 feet. Now you could turn that off and say, hey, I just want to fly until I lose signal. But you have the option to turn that off or on. Boat mode. Now this is something very interesting. I'm going to take the time and read through this, and you tell me what you think. In boat mode, take caution as the aircraft's hover will remain static regardless of boat speed or listing. Be aware the home point will not update automatically and is set at the point of takeoff. Please note that the max return to home speed is 22 miles per hour in a zero wind condition. Take your environment into account when planning your return flight. Do you wish to continue? Now, I don't know about you, but basically that just sounded like it's telling me how the drone flies in general. So what does boat mode actually do? I don't know. It's kind of odd. But anyway, let's move on. Coming up to compass calibration. In here you can go in and calibrate your compass if you need to. We don't need to, so let's get back out of here. Advanced settings. In advanced settings you got two options. Front LED indicators, turning them off or turning them on. I personally like to keep them on because I like to see which way the craft is going. EXP. Here you got some control over the X-axis and the Y-axis of your command sticks. I do not like to touch anything in here. Personally, I don't think there's a need for it. So let's get back out and let's go back all the way to visual navigation. Obstacle avoidance. Here, you can turn it off or turn it on. Obviously, if you turn it off, it's going to tell you, basically it's going to say, if you don't have it on, you can run into somebody. So for now, why don't we let's leave it on. Obstacle avoidance radar map. What that is on the front screen when you're flying, it's going to show you colors, reds, yellows, oranges, or whatever, when you're getting close to objects, how far they're away, so it's pretty nice. Auxiliary bottom light. You have some options here. You can turn it off, on, auto, flash once or flash twice. It's pretty cool. Advanced settings. Downward vision positioning. Here you can turn this on or off. However, if you turn it off, it's going to tell you if downward vision positioning is disabled, the aircraft will be unable to hover stably at low altitude indoors and use the landing protection function. Landing protection, when enabled, landing protection allows the aircraft to detect ground conditions as it lands. You can turn that off or on. I don't know why you'd want to. And accurate landing. The aircraft will land as close as possible to the takeoff point during go-home operation. Why would you disable that? I don't know. Let's move on. Remote control. Remote control calibration. Here you could choose to calibrate your remote control. We don't need to, so let's get out of there. Command stick mode. Mode 2. That's the standard. But as you could see, you have a couple options if you want to change it. Remote control matching. Now this is pretty cool. This is where you can add a secondary remote control and match it up with your drone. Pretty neat. Let's move on. Image transmission. Here you can see you get a nice little graph of your image transmission. Broadband settings, 5, 10, or 20 megahertz. Image transmission mode, smooth or high definition. How do you want it to look? That's pretty cool. You got option there. Aircraft battery. Check out all the details you get in here about your aircraft battery. Pretty nice. Temperature, remaining capacity, how many times it's been discharged, time to discharge, 6 more days. It has a slider for your critical and low battery warnings. Battery details, nothing but a serial number here. So let's check out that slider for your warnings. And let's adjust that a little bit because low battery warning is set to 30% and critical is 15. So let's just move that slider down a little bit. So say, yeah, I want it to be around 20%. And then maybe, I don't know, critical at 12. Yeah, that seems a little better. So let's go ahead and move on to the gimbal. Here you can put your gimbal in 2 different modes, stabilized or FPV. Now FPV is pretty cool. You can achieve this effect in your videos where it looks like you're flying in FPV, where things bank and tilt, and pretty cool if that's what you're trying to achieve. Adjust gimbal or gimbal calibration, we don't need to do that. Gimbal pitch limit 30 degrees extended upward, which is pretty cool. If you turn that on, you can actually pitch your camera up, look up 30 degrees. Just keep in mind when you do that, there's a good chance you're going to get your props in your shot. Gimbal pitch EXP sensitivity. Here's where you can adjust the sensitivity of your gimbal pitch, which is nice. General, home point, me or the aircraft. Basically, it is what it says. Change your home point to you or where the aircraft is. Units. What do you want to see? How do you want to read everything on your screens? Metric or imperial? In the US, we choose imperial. Show aircraft coordinates. You have the option of none, GPS, UTM, or DMS. Firmware version, voiceovers, restored, do not show again, and about. Let's look at firmware version. Basically in here it shows you all the firmware versions for everything. Now let's go back to the main screen. On the left hand side of this main screen you'll see a little map sticking out there. Click on it, check it out. Click on it again, makes it big. Nice, shows your map for everything. Now check this out. If you click on there, you get the option to change your maps. Change it to a hybrid view or change it to a GPS view, which is pretty cool. Let's change it back to normal. Now if you click on the bottom icon, that is Find My Drone. Now we're going to get a warning here because we actually have a connection to the drone, so it won't work. You click on this one, you can choose to look at me, the home point, or the aircraft. And if you click on the top one, it changes the entire angle of the map, as you can see here. Personally, I don't like that view. I like it straight. It's a little easier to read. Anyway, let's click on the map. If you click on picture, that gets that back up there. Click on the map again to close it up. And now we're good with that. Next, if you click on the button above the shutter button, which is the red one, you can access photos and video from your SD card, internal storage, or device storage. Next, HDR. You could enable that or disable that. High dynamic range. Next, the bottom button changes it from photo to video mode. Now we want to click on the little arrow down below, and we will get a whole slew of more options. That's pretty cool though. So let's go and see the one on the far right, PIV. What is PIV? Well, let's click on it and find out. Let's click on the little help sign here. Picture in video. Allows you to take still images while recording video at the same time. Aircraft will take screenshots from your video and save it as JPEG. Raw images aren't available in PIV. So it's pretty cool. Look, and you could set a timer too. So every 5, 10, 30, or 60 seconds while you're recording video, it'll automatically take photos. Styles. You have some different styles that you could shoot in. As you can see, the image changes a little bit as we click through them. And on the last one there, you'll notice there's a little circle with some dots, which means there's something else. And if you click on that, you'll see that you got sharpness, contrast, and saturation. If you click on each of them, you'll find that you get some fine control over these things, which is very nice. Yep, click on the contrast. You get all your controls over that. And the saturation as well. So it's there's some very good stuff here. Color modes: none, log, which is good for editing afterwards; black and white, which is neat; and nostalgic. So you got some options there. So AF, autofocus, or manual focus. So you can choose how you want to do that. Obviously, autofocus. Cameras adjust the focus according to the subject location. Manual, the user manually sets the camera. So, next, digital zoom. This is pretty cool. Although it's digital, it's still cool. But if you click on the help sign here, it'll tell you the digital zoom effects allows you to crop in the camera sensor, allowing you to zoom in on your subject. Be mindful that cropping in the camera sensor will lower the resolution of the image. So let's check it out. So right now it's 100%. 2, check it out. 2x, 3x, 4x, 5, 6x, 7, and 8. Pretty neat. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Let's move down this way to white balance. So you got auto, sunny, cloudy. You could see it changing. Changes your white mode, neon, 500K, incandescent, or 5000K. And when you're in that 5000K, if you click on the little more, you got a lot more K. Yeah, you can change that to a whole bunch. It's really, really granular. And so, yeah, very, very nice. So that's pretty cool. Next, EV. What is EV? Exposure value. Combination of both the ISO and shutter speed. Setting is used to the camera set to auto. Increase the EV for a brighter exposure or decrease the EV to darken your exposure. So that's pretty cool. So as you could see, if I click on a couple of these, it'll change it. We'll go up. You can see it getting brighter. We'll go up again. You can see it getting brighter. So it's pretty cool. There's more options to play around with. Let's move up. As you can see, the ISO and shutter is grayed out. That's because we're in auto mode. So you want to pause that there and read that whole deal about exposure mode. You can go ahead and do that. But as you could see, if we change it to manual, then your options change. You can then change your shutter speed and go in and change your ISO. So that's pretty cool if you if you're getting a shot and you can just see the auto is just not working good. Yeah, you can make some manual changes there. Format. What are you going to shoot it? What you want your videos to be? MP4 or MOV? Frame rate. Here's where you can adjust your frames per second. Now, depending on what resolution you're shooting in, depends on the options you get. So let's check this out. As you can see, 4K or 6K, and you get 30, 25, and 24 with 6K. 8K, you get 25 and 24. 4K, you get 60, 50, 48, 30, 25. 2K, you get 120, 60, 50, 48, 30, 25, 24. Pretty nice. We switch this to 1080p, and you get 120, 60, 50, 48, 30, blah, blah, blah. You get them all, man. So pretty neat. A good bit of options here for your camera. So it's very nice, very nice. Now check this out. If you click on this, obviously you see it's your gimbal pitch. But when you highlight it, it brings up what the pitch is right on your screen. So if I adjust my gimbal, it's going to show you nice and big what degree you have your gimbal. Click on it again, turns it off. As you can see, when you change it, it doesn't show. Next, we want to click on this little camera down in the bottom there, and we get the camera settings. A whole bunch of more stuff here. So grid, none. Or grid, as you can see, I put grids lines on the screen and grids plus line. Just to help you compose your shots a little bit. Center point, I like this one. But you have some options. You can change your center point or none. Pretty cool. Next we go back to histogram. You can choose to show this while you're flying. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just stuff that's in the way. Overexposure warnings. Check it out. You could see it puts little bars on there to show you where things are going to be overexposure. Overexposed. Subtitle AS file. Let's not go there. Anti-flicker, turn off, 50 hertz or 60 hertz. Got those options there. Video encoding format, H.264 or H.265. 265 obviously makes a smaller file. Storage save location, SD card or flash card. Onboard storage. What else we got here? We got some defog, ROI, lock gimbal while shooting, your model, and camera version. Defog, as you can see, it changes your image, and it's what it is. It's trying to, defog your image a little bit. Return on investment, I don't know what they're talking about there. Honestly, it doesn't do anything unless it only works when defog is on. But as you can see, I don't see it doing anything. And again, lock gimbal while shooting, on or off, and that stuff there. So, yeah. Let's move on. So back to the front screen. If we click up here where you see where it says 3021, you get a little drop down. And you get some stats about your signals, your battery, percentages, etc. which is pretty nice. Then check out the big blue section where it says manual flight. Now if you click on those, that's where you get to all your intelligent flight modes, which unfortunately will be another video because there's too much more to get into at this point. But that's how you get to them. So back to here. Now, finally, the hidden menu. What is it and where could it be? Well, check it out. If you go up to the very furthest left corner and drag your finger, boom, you get a whole bunch of current aircraft stats, which is pretty cool. Hidden up there in the corner. Nobody could see it. And then there's a flight log. And you can see in there, there's the warning we got when we tried to do Find My Drone while we were in the map view. And there's a little trash icon. You can delete any logs that you have in there. Anyway, there you go. There's the hidden menu. So there you go, guys. Hey, I hope you found this video useful. And for those of you out there that already own the Autel EVO 2, I know there are some things that I didn't go over, like voice commands and such, but if there are some things you see that really sticks out that should be mentioned, please let me know in the comments below so I can learn from you as well. Anyway, if you like what you see here and you like the things I'm talking about, let me know by hitting that like button down below and subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Later.